So I'm designing a 3D printer, and the goals I'm setting for this project is to make it affordable and just use all the scraps I have from other printers that I've built. So let's talk about the design process and how I got to this point. So here's the initial design. It's really big and it supports 4 under 3 beds, just chained together, sort of like a Prusa XL, and a large Core XY gantry. And it uses these bed mounts here, which I'm going to get into later. But I downscaled this whole printer, so now it only uses 1 under 3 bed. And this just makes it so I'm able to fit the printer in my room because I just wouldn't have enough space. And I was using these bed mounts, and you'll see with the updated printer that the bed mounts have changed a lot. So these initial bed mounts I've also modified a little bit, just so the bed could be bolted to it. However, when it would be bolted down, it would sag. So I made these ones where there's just more material on the actual arm, so it's able to support more weight. So as I was working on the bed mounts, I noticed that bolting the bed directly to the mount was actually pretty bad in a setup like this. Basically, as the bed on one lead screw would decrease, if the other stayed the same, it would actually cause the mount to like bend, and we don't want anything to bend. So I decided to change it to just like a ball joint, and it would ride on this magnet and this small carriage here. However, this was too deep for the actual ball to sit in. So in the new design, I made it way closer to the surface. And the bottom of the bed will have these 4 balls. And one pretty important thing to point out as well is that since the bed is being lifted up on 4 individual points, it is quite over constrained, which is a good thing and also a bad thing. It's a bad thing because if the bed warps a little too much, or if it just isn't perfectly flat, the over constrained bits, because they're on ball joints, one will lift up out of the joint itself, which is a bad thing because then it's not going to be perfectly flat with the lead screw that's riding on. However, when this does not happen, it's a really good thing because I could get the bed very flat on those 4 points instead of having them on 3. Occasionally, the bed can sag on a 3-axis bed or a 3-point bed, like with like Voron tridents and stuff. So with this design, it will probably not do that. Now, enough of the bed. Let's talk about the actual gantry itself. So over here is just a very simple gantry that I have, and it's just a simple Core XY. With the limit switch mounts being just bolted to the frames of the actual moving portion and the chassis of the printer. And now with the whole frame, this is just all that it looks like. So it's just one big rectangle. Originally, I wanted it to have 4 drive motors, making it an odd setup. However, since these actual motor mounts are pretty big, I wasn't able to do this without either shrinking the mounts and making it so I'm unable to like live adjust the tension with these like knobs here, or I would just have to make the printer's bed, like the actual print size, very small. So now everything but the tool head is done. So let's start building this machine. I didn't record the build process of the printer. However, everything is the same from the CAD. So the frame, the gantry, and the Z-axes are the same, along with the skirts. But the only thing I didn't really talk about too much is the tool head, which I'll get into later, because there are a few revisions I did, and the actual electronics. These parts were chosen on purpose. This power supply is 500 watts, so it can do just all the power for the delivery for the printer really effectively. The tool head doesn't consume a lot of power compared to the total capacity. Neither do any of the electronics like the motors. So it was a good choice for what I'm trying to do. The motor drivers here is a Big Tree Tech Octopus. I'm using 2209 drivers and the servo drivers, which I'm going to talk in depth about in a little bit, along with the Big Tree Tech Pi. And for those unfamiliar with 3D printing, and Clipper especially, the Big Tree Tech Pi is basically the brain of this machine, sending all the commands to the Octopus. So it receives all the G-code files and stuff like that from just my computer. So I will send files remotely to this Pi since it's connected to my Wi-Fi. So let's talk about drivers, because this is what really sets this printer apart from everyone else's. So over here, I have 5 2209 drivers, one for each Z-axis lead screw motor, and then one for the extruder. That's basically just a standard driver where the only thing I'm able to do, aside from send just current to the motors, is set the amount of amps I want to actually be pushed. Other drivers can't do this, and they're only set to 1 just amp rating, which is why I chose these ones, because I could set it from anywhere between just 0 to 1.5. Now, I have these special drivers here, which are servo drivers. So my understanding of these drivers is basically that they are quite similar to your standard 2209s or 2208s or just any stepper driver. Basically, all it's doing is that the pattern of current being sent to the motor that normally makes it rotate is actually being sent to this motor here. However, the PCB inside of here, which does all the encoder positioning and stuff, will take that sporadic current and convert it back to rotation. So that rotation will end up basically being what the encoder actually looks for when this motor is moving. So what it does is it takes the value of just rotation that it calculates, compares it to the real rotation that the encoder picks up, and does a bit of math to figure out if the toolhead is actually moving properly to the way I want it to be. So in a real world scenario, what this just allows me to make sure of is that the toolhead's getting to where it needs to be, and if it isn't, the printer actually knows that there's an issue there because it can see that the motor's trying to approach that position, and it just physically isn't going there. This also allows for really just good positional accuracy because there's a second feedback loop basically telling the printer the just percent difference in which the motor is actually moving compared to where the Raspberry Pi expects it to move based on the current being sent to the motor itself. So now let's talk about the toolhead. So when it comes to the toolhead, I just had these parts laying around. So I have a Sherpa Mini right here, which is a pretty good compact light extruder. And I also have this hot end from Fadus. Ideally, I would use a Sherpa Mini because this is my favorite extruder right now. With a Fadus Rapido, which I have on my 0G Hydra over there. And this is just a 4010 fan I had in my drawer. The other fan that will be put on is a 4020, just regular 4020 fan, not a blower, for the actual hot end cooling. I'm also going to be using a BL Touch probe, which is already on the printer because I just have it laying around. So over here is the actual CAD of the whole toolhead assembly. This from a Voron Zero. Well, my Voron Zero. Sorry, this printer is just basically a bunch of scraps at this point. Over here we have the extruder like I showed, the hot end assembly. A 3010 fan, I thought it was a 4010, but it's not, or 4020. The 4010 blower, along with the actual portion that's going to be mounted onto the linear rail. So we have the main block here, which I'm just going to hide now. And then you have just a separate body here, which is just what mounts everything together, along with this, which is the whole toolhead assembly. And now that it's all put together, let's see it actually print its first part. So that first Benchy just told me a lot about the printer. In the time lapse, you could see the camera moving to the left. Well, yeah, my left. And that's just due to the vibrations of the machine actually moving it. So I need to make a better mount for the toolhead. Also, the Benchy itself came out pretty bad. And this is because there just isn't enough flow. Like, the flow rate isn't high enough to actually extrude the plastic properly for just how fast the motion system can move. And also the part cooling is pretty bad. So as you can see with the whole of the ship, how it's supposed to be here and it's supposed to follow the curve up, it didn't. There's like a little bit here, and that's just because it wasn't able to lay down the layer properly, and just wasn't able to cool that layer either, which just causes a lot of problems when you're trying to print stuff. I'm gonna call it here. Thank you guys for watching. What I'm gonna do in the next part is just create a whole new tool head that could achieve higher flow rates and better cooling. And also just reinforcing the frame, hopefully with like acrylic, just like side panels, so I can actually see into the printer while it it's just more like structurally supported.